How about how God uses women? You know, the prophetess, in a long line of faithful voices. Have you ever looked at Miriam, the sister of Moses? She led worship, right, as a prophetess in the Red Sea. You know, if you look it up in Exodus 15:20, and I didn't put it here, but I got it in my notes. It says she took a timbrel in her hand, a timbrel, you know, the little things that they make the noise, the timbrel, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dance. And Miriam answered and said, "Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed glorious. And the horse and his riders have been thrown into the sea." You know, and it says that she was a prophetess. How about Deborah? Deborah judged, you know, and led them to Israel to victory. You know, and you can see that in Judges chapter 4, verse 4. Here's one that a lot of people don't really know a lot about, but Halluda, you know, spoke God's word and sparked a revival under King Joash. And you can look at that at 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 10, right? And then here's another one that as I was looking, I never even thought of this one myself, but the evangelist Philip, right? I have 4 daughters, and they prophesied in the early church, and they were called prophetess, right? And you can see that in Acts chapter 21, verse 9, right? You see, one of the things that God does is God powerfully uses women throughout his story, right? Anna, again, is called a prophetess, and just one in that whole thing. And there's more than that. I could have named off several more, but these are some of the majority. You know, point 3 that I wanted to do was Anna's character. Anna's character, if you think about it, she was devoted, she was expectant, right? Expectant in a bold proclamation, right? She was expecting this to happen, exactly what Jesus would do. You know, and you know, it says she was a widow of about 84 years. I've read several of, in fact, I almost put Warren Wiersbe's commentary on her, there's so many that I read. So anyways, but some people say she was 84 years old, or she was a widow for 84 years. I don't know. I wasn't there.